Welcome. It's Meg Salter from the Recruitable Hub. I am here with the lovely Philippa Baker today to give us some expert advice. So, Philippa, just a little bit of an intro from you.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Meg. I have been running my own business, recruitment business for the last 10 years, predominantly within the travel industry, but across quite a wide range of roles within the industry, anything from contact centre through to business development, marketing, finance, admin, IT, HR. So I've had quite a broad experience, albeit within one industry.
Yeah, fantastic. Quite well known in the travel industry as well for having that depth of knowledge and I guess breadth of understanding of all of those different roles. But in terms of being a recruiter, so obviously businesses come to you to get you to find people, but do you just want to give us a little bit of a lowdown around sort of the role of a recruiter? So
yes. Yeah. Look, a good recruiter has a pool of often exclusive clients that they recruit exclusively for. That's what I tend to do and specialize in. So I build a really good rapport with my clients, and as such, I can be your best friend as a candidate. I really understand my clients' needs. I understand the culture of their business. And I can really set you up for interview success. I can help you tweak anything on your resumes or cover letters that I think you haven't covered off. We tend to get a bad reputation as recruiters, but in actual fact, if you get a good recruiter, they can really set you up for success.
So you're kind of working on behalf of both, like you are trying to groom
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got everybody's best interests at heart.
Fantastic. Now you see a heap of resumes and cover letters and you do heaps of screening calls and interviews on behalf of a number of different clients, but I'm kind of after sort of patterns and stuff. So your biggest turn-offs or top tips in terms of biggest turn-ons and turn-offs for resumes. Hit us with your knowledge.
Yeah, look, my top tip for resumes would be not to rewrite them for every role that you apply for, but just perhaps to tweak them. If there's a specific skill set that they're looking for and you have some of that, but you've covered lots of other skills in your resume, hone in on what they're looking for. So just slightly tweak it. Turn-offs for me would be endless cut and pastes of your job description, because it's very obvious that you really do that.
People really do that.
Yes. And it's blatantly obvious. You should be able to proofread your resume. Technology can do that for you. Endless lists. I like lists of skills, and I know I always go into detail and give you examples, so I'm going to give you one here, which I actually wrote earlier. Instead of listing your skills as I'm great customer service, understanding how contact centers work, good communication skills, product knowledge, I'm resourceful, and this endless list, put it into a paragraph like this. And this was for a contact center. In my current role, I'm the first point of contact for clients. I use my communication skills to qualify their needs, my product knowledge and resourcefulness to provide expert advice, my admin skills to facilitate their booking, and my customer service skills to deliver a positive experience resulting in a sale.
My God,
so in that, you've given me those 5 skills. You've shown me how you action them and how you use them every day, as opposed to writing me a list. So that's just a top tip. Turn-ons with resumes is obviously something clean and concise. I think 2 pages, 3, okay. If you format your resume well, you should be able to get quite a substantial amount of information into 2 pages. And another massive turn on for me is listing your achievements. For me, that's as important as the job you've done.
Yeah, fantastic. What about cover letters? So biggest turn-offs, biggest turn-ons, top tips?
Yeah. Look, my top tip for a cover letter, again, would be to tailor it for each role. And again, you don't have to rewrite it, but just tweak it. I think I gave you an example when we interviewed previously of a role that I was advertising for, where 70% of people hadn't written a cover letter.
Yes. Incredible.
And the 30%, yeah, the 30% I had, about half of them had written me a generic cover letter. You know, I knew it wasn't tailored for my role. So just by doing that, you can put yourself into the top 15% of candidates. Another top tip would always be to mention your availability. If they've given specific hours or shifts or whatever for the job, mention that you're available to cover that, and also that you're available and flexible for interview at any time. Turn-offs, generic cover letters. Dear hiring manager, you should be resourceful enough to be able to work out the name of the person on the ad, or call the company, find out who the hiring manager is. Who should I address this to? Turn-ons for me is, again, concise. I can't read a whole page. I want 3 concise paragraphs, an introduction, you know, what I understand about this role and why I'm going to be good at it, and a sign-off, which is my availability and my keenness to be considered in an interview at any time.
Fantastic.
And a bit of humour. I don't mind a bit of humour, and I know you don't mind either. I mean, something that makes me smile makes me feel good, and it's memorable.
Yeah. Something that makes me feel like a human, I think, is good.
Yes.
Rather than some sort of automated robot that's going to be going through all the cover letters.
That's right. The other thing I would say is, and don't be disheartened by this, because I know I say it's important to include a cover letter, but it may not always get read. And it may not get read all the way down the line. The recruiter might read it, but if there's 200 applicants and they're sending 10 people through to a client, the client may not read 10 cover letters. They may only read 10 resumes. So it's very important that whatever you really wanted to say in your cover letter is reiterated in your resume too.
Yes, fantastic. Beautiful. Now, what about if they get to a screening call? What do you love and what do you detest?
Preparation.
Yes.
Be prepared. You know, if you're applying for a role, either store the ad somewhere in a folder, or even print it out, wherever you're going to have quick access to that when your phone rings. Because, you know, one of my real turn-offs is when people can't remember the role they've applied for, and they say, sorry, which role was that? I've applied for so many, I can't remember. And I think you can't be that keen on it. You know, people who say, oh my God, I loved that role, I'm so glad you've called me. I've got the information here, I had a look at the company, and it looks fab. I just know I'm really aligned and the skill set is there. You know, just enthusiasm and remembering it. Turn-ons, obviously having done your research, and asking for next steps. I like people that give me buying signals that say, you know, what's the next step in the process from here? When will I hear from you again? You know, just to reiterate that I'm really keen.
Yes. Okay. Fantastic. It's amazing how many people just try to, like, they just focus on the resume and the cover letter in the hope that they'll get a call back, but then they forget that is a massive sort of obstacle to get through to the next step anyway. So
that's your first and last chance to make the right first impression, to take you through to the next stage. Yeah,
brilliant. And the next stage obviously being the interview stage. So clearly you've done 50,000 million of these. What's
I have, and I've actually, aside from doing them, I've also prepared candidates for them. And, you know, it's being prepared. If you're prepared, then everything will be okay. And, you know, research the company that you're going into, but also go back through the job description. Make sure you really understand the role that you're going in for and how your skills fit. And, you know, I think it's really important to get your resume professionally written, or, you know, to use a service so that you get the best of you on a piece of paper, but make sure you can articulate that.
Yes.
You know, learn your own resume, understand your own skills, and be able to articulate them in person. You know, a turn-off is when you don't know anything about the company. It's also a big turn-off, and HR will quite often dig to see if there's been any conflict for you in the workforce. If you say, oh, my boss was terrible, you know, I hated her, and it was it doesn't come across that there may have been a problem with your boss. It comes across that there may have been a problem with yourself. So no conflict. You know, obviously turn-ons, overcome objections. If they ask you, you know, well, hang on, you haven't got any experience in selling travel. You could say, yeah, but I'm really well traveled. You know, I love travel. I'm passionate. I've been to 14 different countries, in 21 different trips. I'm very resourceful. I'm prepared to do online courses and learning and development, and I'm ready to learn. Relevant information from previous roles is really impresses me. I love numbers. I hate people that write etc. various. I love stats. So, if you were going for a sales role, you need to be able to tell me I was doing 120% of my target for 8 consecutive months. I had a 40% increase year on year. You should be able to tell me the turnover of your company, all those sorts of things. So have your numbers ready. And the other thing, and I think, funnily enough, I've been giving this advice to people many, many times in the travel industry, because obviously our industry has been battered by COVID. Change your mindset.
Oh God.
Just be positive. I've given advice to people who say, I'm terrible in a panel interview. I've failed in one before. I know I'm going to be terrible. What can I do? And my best advice is change your mindset. Give yourself a talking to. You did a panel interview previously and it didn't go well, but this time you know what to expect. You've done all your preparation on the company. You totally understand the role you're going for. You know your skills. You're able to articulate them. What is the worst that could happen? You don't do that well on the day and you don't get the job. The world isn't going to end. Your family aren't going to starve. It's okay. So I think just change your mindset. Go in and say, I'm going to be brilliant for this. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. It's a great experience.
Yeah. I think people, they really do, they talk about being confident. You've got to make sure that you're really confident, but that confidence really does come from having the right mindset. Do you think that in terms of interviews as well, sort of seeing it as a conversation, so it's not just about researching the company, but it's about then being able to, from your research, actually have some really intelligent questions that you want to ask about the role. So, let's ask about the leader and ask about the manager rather than saying my last boss was crap, like finding out how progressive, and how big is the team I'll be working with, and what is their experience and where have they come from. And I think that there's so much in an interview that you can get in terms of your mindset and confidence just from doing a bit of research and having your questions and treating it like a conversation rather than just a grilling, basically.
That's exactly right. It's a two-way interview, and if you completely freeze at the end and they say, have you got any questions, and you just can't remember any of the questions you prepared, you can't think of anything, you can say, look, I did have, actually you've covered everything, it's been fantastic. My one question is, what are the next steps? Where do we go from here? And that's a really good positive way to end an interview.
Start date, when will I hear from you? If I'm not successful, is it possible that you keep my details on file, etc.? Brilliant. Love it. Now, standout story. So who has been unforgettable in your experience?
Look, I have had so many I've had so many unforgettable standout candidates. I'm going to give you a really recent example, and it's around mindset, because I just think that's so important, of a recent candidate in the travel industry who I was placing into a role in cruising, believe it or not, which has been probably the hardest hit sector by COVID. But and I've spoken to a lot of people who are quite broken within the industry, but she's coming back. She'd been obviously furloughed and then made redundant over the last 6 months. And I said, what have you been doing during COVID? What have you done during lockdown? She said, oh my God, I've been so productive. It's fantastic. I've lost 9 kilos. I've been to the gym every day. I've done everything that I wanted to do. And she said, I've actually, although all this has happened to me, I have never felt better. And I'm so ready for the challenge. I'm so ready for a new role. I absolutely love cruising. I know I'm going to kill it. And I just thought, I love you. You made me feel better today. And I know you're going to get the job. And she did. So stand out, positive attitude. If you're going for a role and you're going in an interview, it's obvious you have the right skill set, because we've already gone through all the processes and checks and balances. Now it's about you and how you sell yourself. So it was a real standout for me, quite recent too.
Oh God, I love that. And I think mindset is so incredibly important, and not just in the travel industry, but in every industry at the moment, because there are sort of so many candidates going for different roles. One of the easiest ways to stand out is just to back yourself and to do your research and get excited about the role, and then kind of the confidence will sort of take care of itself. Yeah.
That's
so anyone
exactly right.
who is feeling great and feeling excited is obviously going to be a standout candidate. So that's easy. Excellent. Philippa, thank you so much for your time. I always
Pleasure.
chatting with you. And it's just always, everything that you offer is just always common sense and just very, very achievable and very easy for people to actually take all of that advice and implement it in order to get a job. So thank you so much for your time.
They do.
And
my pleasure.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you.
Thanks, Meg. Bye-bye.